Hi everyone, this is Koinzell here, and in this video, we are going to talk about C0 Ayato in freeze comms, both in Torgana and Kamisato. So first off, we will talk about Kamisato. I'll show you guys the stats on the team members on in my Kamisato comp. And same as the previous video, what we'll do is we look at the rotation, and we'll look at the rotation again with a slope playback and my commentary and analysis to help you guys understand what's going on. Then we'll go on to repeat the same for Torgana comp, and we'll do some comparisons, some addition notes here and there, and come to a conclusion. Okay, now that's the intro. Let's start by looking at the stats. I'm gonna go real fast here. Okay, so Venti, this is my crit build Venti. Okay, not very high crit damage, but it's okay. ER is 208.5. We are using allergy, 4-piece VV, C0, talent levels base 9. Ayaka, level 12, base 9, C4, 4-piece Blizzard Strayer, Mistsplitter R5, and these are my stats. So factor in the 4-piece Blizzard Strayer and the Cryo Resonance, etc. We have a very nice high CR. EI is unfortunately at 164 because I'm not lucky enough. But it's okay because the 164 anyway is the highest I can get in terms of crit value as well, or with the artifacts that I have. In fact, I can show you guys the artifacts like this. And this is the culprit with the that caused the ER to go beyond 150. And this is our Ayato. Okay, crit rate, crit damage. This is the 129 ER build, so no change. R1 Haran, 4-piece HOD, C0, and talent levels is 9 and 8. So these are the stats on the team, and then you have Leona. Straightforward stuff, no change from all along how I've been doing her, but we are using Fervonius Warbow here because we don't want to use Sacrificial. We don't have enough time in the rotation to use Sacrificial. That's why we're using Fervonius. Our CR is 45. Sorry. For some reason, it auto-played. Shouldn't have happened. Alright, now, we look at the rotation now. It auto-repeated. For freeze-com rotations, Ayato's E always signifies the start of the rotation. Simple as that. Alright, let's start.
Kamisato流水遊
一緒に遊ぼうよ風が踊りなさい
安らかに
逃げようなんて思わ雪を前桜吹雪色なら特製ドリンクじゃ名前だにゃ
Okay, pretty nice, right? We actually managed to clear it at night with 9 minutes 13 seconds remaining. Show you guys again. Yeah, so it's 9 minutes 13, or you can call it 9 minutes 12, whatever the case is. But this is already a better result than Ayato HyperCarry with Yunjin, but not as good as Ayato OverVape HyperCarry. Ayato OverVape HyperCarry had 919 remaining. I'm talking about this figure here. He had 919 remaining. The bigger the number, the better, because that's your remaining time. But this is pretty nice for Ayaka, Kamisato comp. And if you saw the rotation, it was also quite smooth. By the time we want to start our second rotation, all the other queue, etc. already. Now it can be further optimized. You saw that the rotation may have some small pauses here and there, but it's okay. Let's look at it now with slope playback. Okay, so this is the first queue being cast, because it's slow playback, so I wanted to skip a little bit. Ayaka is doing her E before Q, and I've explained this already in my math guide. The rotation is still following the same as the math guide. Okay, everything is the same. Cast Leona Q, do a whole E, switch to Ayaka to receive energy. Right, then Ayato E. Now the weakness of Freezecom is starting to appear here in this scenario here, where the mobs are not, this big wolf can't be pulled by Ventis Burst. So we have to hit them separately. This is the weakness of the Freezecom. All of the actions here remain the same as what I have specified in my rotation in the math guide. So this rotation follows the math guide completely, and this is the start of the second rotation. Ayato Q, Venti EQ, then the Ayaka D M1, use the elemental skill E and then Q. Okay. Then Diona Q, E hold with a Felonious Wall Bow. Now here we should be switching to Ayaka, but I jumped the gun and switched to Ayato. But it's okay because we were about to clear the chamber anyway. But you definitely should do that switch. So I hope you can see the Kamisato comp rotation is very nice. It follows my math guide completely, so I'm very happy with that. And the main thing, likewise for my OverVape HyperCarry as well. Yeah, the only comp that didn't follow the rotation in my math guide was the HyperCarry with Injing, because we really needed more energy. Plus, I did not really focus on the Ayato HyperCarry after a lot of the changes and the math guides, etc. But for the Kamisato comp, you see that Ayato is able to do a nice rotation with 129 ER. Okay, 129 ER. He's able to handle. So 130 ER is enough for a Kamisato comp. In fact, your Ayaka also don't need 164 like mine. Mine is a little overkill. 151, 150 is enough. 140, unfortunately, I don't have the artifacts to test it with. But I think it should be enough, but maybe a little risky here and there. Take for example, you definitely need to switch into Ayaka to receive the energy. Like what you saw in the second rotation, that wasn't exactly optimal, but it works. Now let's look at Torgana comp. Okay, together with Ganyu. You've seen so many damage figures that it's ridiculous. But then again, all of the comps have a lot of damage figures anyway. I said maybe HyperCarry Engine has the lowest number of figures. Not the lowest damage, the lowest number of figures. Well, it does have the lowest damage right now. Let's look at Torgana comp. So as usual, we talk about the stats first. Wait, so that. So no change on my Venti stats, 2 ER, crit build, allergy for the M, 4-piece VV, C0, talent level, base level 9 on E and Q. Now let's talk about my Ganyu. Ganyu here, you'll notice that it's a bit different. I'm not using 4-piece Blizzard straight here. Okay, let me go back. I'm not using 4-piece Blizzard straight here because my Ganyu all along has been more of a generalist build. I'm always switching her between Freeze and Meltcom. Kazuha, Bennett, Zhongli, Meltcom. And of course Ganyu. So right now what I have is a build where I sort of modify, switch some weapons around so that I can achieve 124 ER. Because I do feel that she needs higher ER. I actually tried it with 111.7 ER and I felt that it wasn't enough. She became the weak link in the rotation. So that's why I changed my artifacts around just so that we can achieve this 124 ER. But it's still pretty good damage, okay? I did not sacrifice much damage per se. We still have 2k attack. My CR is 86%. Add on a 15% cryo resonance and we have 100 CR with more than 200 crit damage. So it's good. ER is 124. So you'll see that 124 is pretty decent in the rotation later. But there are other caveats to it, and I'll talk about those later after we go through the rotation. Okay, we are using R5 Skyward Hype with 2-piece Blizzard Strayer and 2-piece Gladiators. Alright. Ayato needs, and Ayato is going with the 141 ER build. We need higher ER, just like the Ayato HyperCarry Unity build. Everything else remains the same. And for Diona, we are using Sacrificial Bow here. In fact, I can drop her CR, but it's okay. So those are the stats. Let's look at the rotation. Okay, so Torgana rotation, you'll see that we mostly follow what I have in my math guide, but my math guide did miss out one last Ganyu E that is required for the energy. Oh, sorry, we miss out Ganyu receiving the E energy. And Ayato's Q takes longer to cast than Kokomi. So you are gonna see a longer than 20-second rotation here. It's okay. I'll talk about what are the options to reduce the rotation. Let's look at the rotation itself first.
Kamisato流 See you
一緒に遊ぼうよ逃げよガンオー帝君のために部外者禁止
よっ
私とは甘く見ないでおさわり禁止部外者禁止
三弱の修
Okay,
正
second rotation. Everyone full energy.
この仕事は排除するべきですね
総流水泳と
足元に気をつけ私は甘く見ないで
So we ended with about 9:10:909 time remaining. 9 minutes 9 seconds on 10 seconds remaining. So it's slightly worse off than Ayaka comp. And my Ayaka is C4 and my Ayaka is C6. Although we are not using the C6 effect, but it's the C4 effect is there. Okay, the C4 effect is there. So both C4 effect are there. The damage buff that they can provide. One is defense strat, the other is a damage bonus. Rotation is longer than 20 seconds because of all the factors I've explained earlier, and also because of the fact that we had to dodge. We had to spend time dodging to reposition ourselves because of how their E's work. So that does work against the rotation. Let's look at the rotation with a slope playback now. So same thing, we start with the first Ayato Q. Venti EQ, pretty standard, same as Kamisato. Ganyu, apply the cryo, sorry. Q, E. Ayato, E. Get the amount of damage figures there. Look at the amount of figures. It's crazy. We cleared the first wave very, very fast actually. This is the strength of the freeze comp in general, but more so Torgana because of the double quadratic scaling. But the problem we have here is Venti, even if the strongest pull in the game, is not able to pull. Or actually, Venti has a bigger pull area, but Kazuha has a stronger effect on pulling bigger mobs. Okay, but we are lucky here. The two wolves are together, and we started our second rotation with everyone with full energy ready. That's very, very nice. That keeps the rotation continuously going. It's just that it's slightly more than 20 seconds. And there is a way to shorten it. And that is, no, let me talk about that later. So second rotation wise, we are repeating the exact same actions here. And we are able to, we are really lucky here that the two wolves happen to be together. Let me put it that way. Okay. And that allows us to clear the chamber before the second rotation ends, because there's still one more Diona E to be cast here. Now let's talk about the option to reduce the rotation further. I mean, it's not too bad, right? I mean, if you saw the timing. Okay, let me go here. Okay, we have 943 left, right? We actually started the rotation. If we want to count the time, let's do it this way. Okay, let me show you guys the amount of time that is in the rotation, just using the time here. So let's take it as 959. 959, we started the rotation. The rotation will end when we cast our Ayato Q again. Let me just skip. Okay, Ayato Q, 931. So, oh sorry, it's not slightly over, it's about 28 seconds. Yeah, But it's also because we are really spending a lot of time fueling and doing battery for our Ganyu. So in other words, right, if you can get your Ganyu to 140 ER, you can actually switch to Diona with Fervonious Wobble. That reduces the amount of actions, and that reduces the rotation. If you go even, maybe you will need even higher, because 140 ER maybe if you still continue with Sacrificial. It's hard to say because I don't have the artifacts, I can't test it out. I did test with the Ayaka artifacts with 164 ER, and can tell you we sacrificed way too much damage. The rotation was shorter, much shorter, but we sacrificed way too much damage, so much so that I had to do like 2.5 rotations to clear this chamber, as opposed to here where it's less than 2 rotations. So I don't have the artifact stats for it, but maybe you guys have it. If you have something like 114 ER with a Diona doing a Fervonious Wobble, or a Rosara doing a Fervonious Lance, I do believe that it can reduce the rotation further. Okay, the rotation is not ideal here, but I'm not going to retry until I get the best rotation, because I also don't have some of the artifacts required for it. Even with the amount of farming they have done, I'm pretty unlucky with the Blizzard Trader domain. So this is what you have. I'll say that the Ayaka rotation or the Kamisato comp is really a lot more easier to manage, mainly because of the fact that we are doing a lot of actions before Ayato does his E. Between Ayato Q and his E, there's a lot of actions being done, and Ayato is off field, and his Ascension passive gets to make good use of those. His Ascension passive that gives him energy really gives him a lot of energy, as opposed to in the Torgana comp. But that's not a reason for us to go do those actions and replicate the same, because there's no need for us to do it. Unless you really want to, then you can force it by doing a Q and a E. Okay, on the Diona, you can do a Diona Q and E if you really want to. I'm not going to say that it's not doable. It's doable. It's just that the rotation is still going to be pretty long. So yeah, you're gonna need higher ER requirement on Ganyu. Not really Ayato. We don't really have an issue with Ayato. I can tell you it's Ganyu that's the bottleneck here. So if you happen to have a high ER freeze comp Ganyu ready, then by all means go ahead. I think Torgana would fare very well for you. But for me right now, I would say that the Kamisato comp is better just in the case of the ER being better utilized on Ayaka, because even without Ayato, Ayaka still needs that amount of ER. But Ganyu's ER can fluctuate greatly based on your rotation. So that's that. So I hope this video has been helpful to you guys. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you like the content, remember like the video and click subscribe for more. Thanks for watching, and I'll do a summary of Ayato next, because I really want to move on to ELM Math series, and I know a lot of you guys who are subscribed to me also want to look at the ELM Math series ASAP. But let me at least close out Ayato post math. A quick update on Ayato post math after the post launch, post release, whatever you want to call it. How he performs opposed to our math, how his comps are like opposed to our rotations in the math guides, and some of his pros and cons that we will only find out during gameplay, or some we already know during math guides. Whatever the case is, I'll just do a simple pros and cons. It's not going to be a long list. Okay, so that's that. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.